This is Simons. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Mr. Simons.
Yes.
Mr. Voda.
Yes.
Mr. Patsalas.
Here.
Mr. Horn.
Yes.
This is Mr. Blackstock.
Here.
And Ms. Babel. Freehand is here.
Okay, we have enough for a quorum then. Moving on, would you follow me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
and to the republic
for which it stands, one nation, under God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to the tentative agenda. Is there anything that wants to be added or deleted from the agenda?
I have on the agenda, under consent agenda, they have C1, C2, C3. C2 and C3 are backwards. C2 should be C2 should be C3, C3 should be C2.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for catching that down. I'd like to add one thing to the agenda, and that is a sandbag policy. We need to make a couple decisions on these sandbags. So I'd like to put that under new business 3, sandbag policy and charge. If there are no other additions or deletions to the agenda, a motion would be in order to accept the agenda with the changes.
So moved.
This is Black. Angelo here. I'll make a motion that we approve the tentative agenda with the addition of number 3 to new business. Blackstock supports.
We have a motion, we have a support. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Simons.
Yes.
Mr. Boda.
Yes.
Mr. Patsalas.
Yes.
Mr. Horn.
Yes.
Mr. Blackstock.
Yes.
Freehand votes yes. Ms. Babel is absent. Motion is passed.
Okay, motion carries. Moving on to approval of the agenda of May 4th, 2020. You have it in your packet.
If there are no additions or deletions, I make a motion we approve the tentative agenda for this evening's meeting.
I'll support. This is Horn. I'll support.
We have a motion and we have a support to approve the minutes of May 4th, 2020. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Simons.
Yes.
Mr. Boda.
Yes.
Mr. Patsalas.
Yes.
Mr. Horn.
Yes.
Mr. Blackstock.
Yes.
Freehand votes yes. Mrs. Babel is absent.
Motion carries and we approve the minutes. Moving on to public comment, is there anyone on the telecom that would like to talk about anything that's not on the agenda? Hearing none, we'll move on to the consent agenda. We have C1 is April 2020 Park Commission meeting minutes. And then C2 would be the St. Clair 2020 Fire Authority Fund Report. And C3 would be the April Marine City Fire Authority Run Report.
I'll make a motion that we accept the consent agenda, except for C2 and C3.
This is Rian. I'll support it.
Who was that, Boda?
Right.
Yes.
Yes. All right, is there any further discussion on the consent agenda? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Simons,
Yes.
Mr. Boda,
Yes.
Mr. Patsalos,
Yes.
Mr. Horn,
Yes.
Mr. Blackstock,
Yes.
and Freehand votes yes.
Motion carries. We accept the consent agenda. Moving on to disbursements. We don't have any invoices, but we have accounts payable of $26,884.71. We have payroll direct deposit, $37,832.50. We have a EFT payments of $44,817.40 for a total disbursement of $109,534.62. Does somebody print that out? Did anybody print the thing out?
I have it printed out.
Is that addition right, Bob, on the bottom? Because I'm adding up the change here and it doesn't come to a 2 at the end. It should be a 1, unless I wrote it wrong.
No, it's printed out. It's accounts payable. This is freehand. The accounts payable ends in 71 cents. Payroll ends in 51 cents.
Okay, 51. I read it wrong. It's 51 and not 50. Okay, that makes it right.
Okay. This is freehand. I have 51 on mine. So.
Okay. Well, I was copying it off my phone, so I might have misread it. So if
This is Angelo here. What was the total amount then, Larry?
$109,534.62.
Thank you.
Okay. And did you get that, Mr. Horn? Did Bob forward you something on that?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, good, thank you. And I talked to the office today. We shouldn't have no more problems getting that from here on out because the office is back to full staff. So if there's no other questions on the disbursements, a motion would be in order to pay the bills.
This is Bo there. I'll take and make a motion to pay the disbursements of $109,534.63.
This is Horn. I'll support.
Okay, we have a motion, we have support. Is there any further discussion on the disbursements? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Simons,
Yes.
Mr. Boda,
Yes.
Mr. Patsalos,
Yes.
Mr. Horn,
Yes.
Mr. Blackstock,
Yes.
Freehan votes yes. Babel is absent.
Okay, motion carries. We pay the bills. Moving on to old business, we have none. So we'll move on to new business, item 1. 114 Loretta requests utility bill penalty waived. It's in your packet. There's a letter in the back. Putting it out there.
This is Freehan. I was trying to determine. We have a request from one individual, and it's about somebody else paying the bill. I'm not sure. I'm not sure who's requesting what, and do we have somebody else requesting it for another individual? The fee waived didn't really make sense to me.
The customer name on the history report is Amelia Greenia, and then on the water sewer bill, it's Greenia too. From Richmond.
Angelo here. Larry, were we contacted by this person to let us know that she was going to be out of town and she was going to be paying late or anything?
No, we did not. And I did some checking. I called Irene today. This came in on her bill. She wrote this on, didn't call, just wrote this on her bill that she thought that this should be waived. In talking to Irene, a lot of people have paid the penalties, and she kind of thinks that we shouldn't give this waiver to this person for this $13. I got to kind of agree with her because, we didn't shut the water off. The governor's executive order says we can't shut the water off, and we're not doing that. But she knew there was a water bill due because she couldn't get here. You think she would have called or made some prior arrangements, but she didn't. So I don't know who this is. Mary something, it looks like, is the person that's writing on this bill.
Mm-hmm.
So it's up to the board what you want to do, but I don't want to set a precedence of waiving these late penalties for a lot of people have paid already. We may be opening up ourselves to a lot of phone calls and people wanting their money back. My suggestion is that we deny this request.
Larry, this is Freehan. If it looks like the lady paid the bill late because she wrote the number on the back, and that's a different person than who had the bill. So if she was paying the bill, and if it was paid late, then she should have paid the late fee because she evidently paid it late. But she just paid the amount without the late fee.
Well, if that's the case, we can add it to her bill. Her next bill, we can add that penalty to the bill. I believe we can do that.
Well, she's got scratched out amount due after due date, and she has $149.55 scratched out.
Yeah, we see that. Yeah. I guess what we're being asked to do, we deny it or do we approve it?
It looks like this is 149. This is her 149.55. She included the 1361 because her bill was 135.94.
I don't know what did she pay. I guess I don't know what she paid.
The bill on 3/23/20 was calculated at 135.94, and then you got the penalty that was 149.55 paid. It looked like. I don't know. It's hard to understand it.
It looks like she must have paid the $135.94. If you look on your other page, your history page, on 5/12, she paid the $135.94, and now she's got a balance of $13.61. So she must not have paid the penalty.
This is freehand. I would make a motion that we deny the request for a waiver of the penalty. There is, based on the fact there doesn't seem to be any financial hardship or that sort of thing, and it could have been paid on time based on the information that we have.
Okay, you got support from Boa.
Okay, we have a motion and we have support. Is there any further discussion on this? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Simons,
Yes.
Mr. Boda,
Yes.
Mr. Patsalos,
Yes.
Mr. Horn.
I'm going to vote no because I think we got a little problem with the figures here.
Mr. Blackstock.
Yes.
Freehand votes yes.
Motion carries. And we'll
Mr.
check
Babel.
those numbers out too, Don, and get back with you.
This is Freehand. Ms. Babel, you haven't signed in yet, have you? Okay. Babel is absent. So, yeah.
I say, Don, we'll get back with you on those numbers on that. We'll double check that tomorrow.
It looks to me like it's been paid.
It looks like she didn't pay it to me, but we'll go by that. So the motion carries. We deny that waiver of the late penalty. All right, moving on to new business 2. DPW discussion of hiring another person in the DPW. We've talked about this for years. Blaine is saying that we need another employee. He's asked me numerous times about it. I'm throwing it out there. What does the board want to do? I don't want to go and jump through all the hoops trying to get somebody if the board's not in support of hiring another person. So I was hoping Blaine would be on, but he must have got tied up with something.
I'm here, Larry. This is Blaine.
Oh, okay. All right. Blaine's on now. So
If I might interrupt, this is Freehand. Ms. Paparelli, are you also on?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. I just wondered who the two people were. So, okay. So Blaine
I got it. Yep.
Blaine is on and Cindy's on. Okay.
Okay.
Right.
So what I'm saying is I know what I know about. When we dig a hole, you got to have a guy in the backhoe, a guy in the hole, and a guy in the top. We have 2 people in the DPW and a supervisor, and all these years the supervisor has covered that position. Because as long as I've been here, we didn't have a third person in the DPW that's non-management. I don't know. I guess years ago they used to. I mean, maybe the Dons know about that. I don't know. But I just want to have the discussion. What are the pluses? What are the minuses? I mean, let's build a case for this or put it on the side. And that's why I asked Blaine to be on the meeting tonight. If there's any questions or if Blaine would like to tell you why he thinks we need another employee, and then we can go from there. So, Blaine, would you like to pipe in?
Yeah, this is Blaine. Well, one thing I would like to say is on our last 2 visits from the Eagle, when they do our sanitary survey, their number 1 recommendation has been to have another employee. When it comes to regular maintenance of the water and sewer system, it would be a great help to have extra people to get to stuff in a time-efficient manner. Over the years, a lot of projects have been pushed off or not done as regularly when we're shorthanded. and it would be a big help to keeping things up to date, being able to follow the safety procedures we should be following, along with getting this regular routine maintenance done to the water and sewer systems. And another thing that's changed over the years has been my position. When I started with the township, there wasn't even a computer in the DPW shop. Now, most days, I could spend my entire day just in front of the computer. And every time something comes up in the field that a third person is needed, I have to leave the shop to go out and look at something or lend a hand, which has never been a problem, but the times have changed as far as what I need to be doing. And anymore, I need to be in the shop, keeping records, attending classes, and doing the best I can to lead the DPW, not just work with the guys.
Yeah, this is what I would suggest that whatever Blaine needs in the way of help or doesn't need help, it should be his decision to make. I would say if he especially needs another additional employee, it's my thought that he should go out and get one. This is something that I've discussed with Larry at several different times, and I've made it known that I'd like to see Blaine get somebody. So if Blaine wants somebody, Blaine should go out and get someone. That's my thought.
This is Don Horn, and in the past, when they were man, they always went to the sewer department and pulled one off of there. So that's they had been doing that when John Kralik was in, and it's been doing that for years. If you need an extra man, just go to the sewer department and get one out of there.
Don, did they used to have three in there? Do you remember way back when you got on? Did they have three people in the DPW?
Just three. That ever had three.
Never had three. Okay.
No, they never had four. Just three.
Yeah. I mean, times have really changed too. I agree. We have pulled that person out of the sewer plant at different times. But they do have, well, they don't have an extra person over there. That's how they schedule it. They have two operators and two on maintenance. So when we pull that person out of there, less maintenance gets done in the sewer plant.
Another thing, I think maybe we should wait till these new sewer lines are in, because when they're in, it's going to make the sewer system a whole lot healthier and easier. Should be easier to manage.
Now,
This is
Blaine,
Angelo.
Go ahead, Angelo.
This is Angelo here. Blaine, just a hypothetical that I'm throwing out there. Is it possible to bring in someone part-time, work them with the option of promoting him to full-time if you see that you definitely need that person? Or do you need a full-time person, you know that right away?
I believe at this point a full-time person is necessary. Just to be able to count on someone in the regular schedule that's going to be there is the way we need to go. And I also believe that, but before I was with the township, that there was three workers and a boss in the DPW. That's what I've been told, but I wasn't there for that.
You're correct. You're correct on that. Both of that.
This is Freehand. Blaine, you have seasonal summer people. Is that correct?
The township has at this time one seasonal grass cutter.
Does that take care of all of the grass? This is Freehand again. They take care of all the grass. I know the Parks Commission is contracting out their grass cutting. So at this point, you really have nobody that does grass. None of the full-time people do grass. Is that correct?
We are trying to avoid the full-time people doing grass. If we need to step in just to help get the grass caught up right now, we will. But our cemetery grass maintenance person has been trying to do the additional work that another employee was doing, and it's not working out with the rain days and being able to get it all in a week. So we will be looking for another part-time person as well for the grass cutting.
So this is Angelo here. So we would be looking to hire a full-time person to go into the DPW and another part-time person to cut grass. Is that correct, Blaine?
Yes. I hadn't had a chance to talk with Larry and Cindy about the part-time grass cutter yet, but we were trying to make it work with just one seasonal employee, and it's not coming together this year.
This is Freehand. A question: this would be an employee at any particular level, skill level, pay level, grade level? I'm not familiar with all of the structure of.
Yes, but before we advertise for any position, I would like to sit down with Cindy and probably Larry to discuss what my needs are, what will best serve the township, what type of employee will best help the township, whether it be a new laborer, an operator, or a field supervisor. Someone to be in the field, keep an eye on things, so the foreman can be at the shop.
Blaine, would that be something like a working leader? Would that be something we?
Yes, that would be an appropriate title for it. Yes.
Okay. Well, and another thing I know with the park contracting out all the parks, our Ed used to cut the parks, the satellite parks, Banner Park, Marwood Park, and all those things. But now they've contracted all the parks out, so that's lightened our load a little bit. But also, our second part-time person didn't come back this year, so a big loss there. He did a lot of work for the township, but he didn't come back this year. So I can see that part-time person. It's only 20 hours a week, and it's only during the summer months when we have the grass cutting. But yeah, I think we need the full-time person. We also gained 8 hours there that we're not having our full-time people run the big mower to cut the soccer fields and that. So we've gained a little bit there too. But we still have to do all the bike trail. That still is under the townships. That doesn't belong to the parks, the bike trail. We cut that and maintain that. So I don't know. Is there any other questions? Herb, you got anything?
No, I guess the only question I would have is if we're clearing up all this extra time, taking all the staff out of the parks, I guess I'm still questioning why we would still need to hire another grass cutter if we eliminated half of the workload. I guess that is a little puzzling to me. As for the additional staff, if we're not meeting safety requirements, that's probably my biggest concern. In terms of full-time staff at DPW, I guess that's one of my major concerns. All I can do is take Blaine's input from this. He's the one that comes to us and gives us his input. So.
Well, Blaine is correct. That is on our report every year that we are light in the employees in the DPW for the size of our operation.
Yes, that is correct. That comes from the state of Michigan inspector when they come out to discuss our water system. And to add to that, they only look at the water system and our capabilities as far as manpower with the water system. They're not even factoring in that the same guys that do water work also do the sewer work as well.
And another thing, Blaine, is our misdigs. I mean, last year I think we had over 300 misdig calls, so that takes somebody out there doing that every day,
Absolutely. Misdigs can be extremely time consuming. Some of them are 15, 20 minutes where things are pretty well cut and dry. Sometimes a mistake can take an entire day if it's a big project, or if the water shutoff isn't where it's supposed to be according to our records. That happens quite frequently. That I have to have a guy at one job just doing a misdig for a longer period of time than I would typically expect.
All right, well, I just wanted to have that discussion. Is there any other input into this, or what are your feelings
Sure,
to the board?
This is Cindy. If I could have a second.
Sure.
And so I'll let you know the things that I'm putting on Blaine and continuing to push him as department head that I know he struggles with because he has to be out in the field more often than he would like or that I would like. The capital improvements program, this is a 6-year plan. It's part of the budgeting, which is now involved with annual budgeting projections and sitting down and figuring out, what it's going to take to run the year and the next 6 years. Putting down a maintenance program in writing to rely on someone's memory. And 5 years from now, we've got everything intact. We can just hand whoever's supposed to be doing the maintenance program. We're getting into our GIS. Every piece of our system is going to be put into GIS and it has to be managed. He's managing the cemetery as a section, emergency continuous operations. For example, what's going on right now with COVID, he's got a department he has to manage and has to have a kind of continuing of operations plans. Best management practices, those need to be put in writing, and things like that are all the kind of departmental supervisor things that really are what he's spending some more time on, and it's hard.
You were breaking up very bad.
Was I?
Yes, you were breaking up. I could hardly understand you.
Okay, let me try back here. Sorry about that. I was on another call and I currently was there. Is that better? Does anyone want me to go again?
No, everybody else must have heard you.
Is that it then, Cindy?
Were you able to hear me?
I could hear you. I mean, a little scratchy, but I could hear you.
Okay.
And another thing I'd like to add, our township has changed. Our statutory duties have changed with the state, what we have to do. Like Cindy said, with these capital improvements, the CIP, we're supposed to be doing that. We're not doing it. There's no time. Who's going to do some of these things? And it all snowballs back to either, the supervisor's taken away from his job and going down and helping somebody else. I know it's a big undertaking. We're talking, a lot of money to hire another employee here. That's why I wanted to have the discussion, get your feelings on it. Anybody else have any input to this?
Well, Larry, this is Herb. What exactly are you looking for from us?
I'd like to know if we should go ahead and get a job description or what kind of person we need. Should Blaine and Cindy and I sit down and start talking about this and see what we want and then keep the board informed? I guess that's what I'm looking for. I don't know if Cindy or Blaine, if you have more to add to that, let me know. I don't.
Well, I think that's a good start. Let's sit down and talk about what's best for the township, what type of employee will best serve our needs, and then go from there.
And this is Freehand. I'd actually like to make a motion that we requests the township supervisor, DPW supervisor, and the township manager to sit down and put together a specific proposal with whatever items would be an appropriate support for that position, whatever level it is, and that sort of thing, and present that to the board for additional discussion and action.
I'll support that. And this is Angelo.
Or this is Don. I would support that also, but we should make sure that it's not something we spend 3 or 4 months on discussions about the person that should be brought in. That's the only comment I have about it. We don't need to be spending 3 or 4 months on something like that.
If, well, I can amend the motion. This is Freehan. I can amend the motion if we wanted to set a date, but I'd rather, Larry and Cindy and Blaine, do you think you could have that ready for the next meeting?
This is Blaine. I believe that that's possible. I don't see any problem with that.
Well, this is Larry. I don't see anything. Mostly going to be Cindy and Blaine sitting down to talk about it. But yeah, I think we can make it happen.
I would, one of the pieces of information, just our estimated cost on it, whatever the level happened to be.
Correct. Yes, we need that. So is there any further discussion for the motion and the second? Hearing none.
And just a second, Larry, this is Angelo here. So what we're doing right now is we're just going to have a discussion between you, Larry, Blaine, and the city manager, and then we'll come back to the board next week and we'll make a decision on it at that time. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That was my motion, and they said that this is Freehan. They said that you could have that potentially ready for the next meeting, which is June the 3rd.
Okay. And did anybody support that, Bob?
Angelo, you supported it.
Yes. Okay, thank you.
Okay, is there any further discussion on it? We're all clear what we're asking to do? If so, roll call, please.
Mr. Simons.
Yes.
Mr. Boda.
Yes.
Mr. Patsalas.
Yes.
Mr. Horn.
Yes on the discussion.
Okay. Yes, Mr. Blackstock.
Yes.
And Freehan votes yes. And Mrs. Babel is absent.
Okay, motion carries. We have that committee get together. All right. And one other thing I'd like to explain to Herb. Our 2 part-time grass cutters, the one that we have left that Blaine was talking about, his full-time job as a part-time employee is to cut the cemetery. So in the spring, it takes a lot of time in the cemetery. And now with Ed gone, we've got the bike trail, we've got the museum, we've got the water plant, we got the township hall. There's still a lot of grass to cut. That's where we think we need the 2 part-time employees.
Okay.
So, I mean, and those, they're just seasonal work. All right, moving on to new business item 3, the sandbag policy and who we charge for the sandbags. I think I reached out to a few of the board members to tell them that I had an opportunity to buy 12,000 sandbags at a really good price, 18 cents a piece. So I bought those 12,000 sandbags. So now we have the bags. We still have a few left that were given to us by Kiewit. So we've been giving those away. But what we'd like to do with these 12,000, being as though we paid $2,160 for them, sell them for what we paid for them, which is 18 cents a bag. But what we'd like to do, what I'm thinking we'd like to do is limit that to 100 bags per address. And as far as how we pay for it, they would have to put a check or a money order or something in the drop box and then call in, on the phone. And that would be a procedure that Cindy would write up. So everybody in the township and the offices knows how to do it, but they would pay for in the front, and then we would give them the bags, 100 bags in the back. We thought about putting them on the credit card, but that doesn't work because the only way we do the credit card is we swipe it on our machine. We don't do it with the numbers over the phone. But Cindy also mentioned she'd like to have a form where they could fill the form out requesting 100 sandbags and turn it into us with the money. They could stop and pick up the form out in front, fill it out, put the money, and then call us. But I guess the main question is, does the township want to charge for these bags that we paid $2,160, 18 cents a piece? I guess that's my first question. Do we want to charge for the bags, or do you want to give them away?
Myself, Larry, I believe that you let them have the bag. Just limit them that they can get.
This is Angelo here. I think the only issue we're going to have, if you give them away free, you're going to have people asking other people, could you get me 100 bags? Could you get me 100 bags? And again, they might have the address, but it's going somewhere else. I mean, we've had bags that we've given away for free. We paid 18 cents for these bags. I think we should at least collect our costs back on them. And again, if somebody really wants them, they'll pay for them. If you give them away for free, people are just going to take them, and who knows where they're going. The other question I have is, maybe Cindy can answer it. Why can our credit card machine not take anything over the phone? It does have a keypad on it where you can key in the numbers.
Well, I don't work with the front desk. I don't know what their processes are for accepting payments, but as far as I understand, credit card payments are only accepted in person at the desk.
That must be just our policy, because I can't believe there's not a keypad on there. Even if you charge the customer 3% to use the credit card, all credit card machines have a keypad on it.
Angelo, I reached out to Irene today with that question. She said it's been our policy not to do it, only take the card that is presented to you in person. If we want to change the policy, that would be up to us as a board to change the policy. But Irene said she didn't feel comfortable doing that. I know probably in your business you do that all the time. She's just afraid that somebody's going to come back and say, well, that wasn't me doing it or something, and you charge something else to us or whatever. Yeah. I don't know. That's been the policy. I know. That's okay. What she quoted me.
This is board with a suggestion. It could get confusing with the residents as to if we're paying or not paying, or if we're getting bags or not getting bags. Should it not be made that we should write a letter to the township residents stating that bags will be available either at no price or 18 cents a bag, just so they know there's going to be bags available and not be confused.
And they'd have to pick them up.
I can tell you that once you all make your decision which direction you want to go, we'll be putting it on our website. It'll be on the local cable access, and we'll post it at Township Hall.
Okay.
I just wanted to let Angelo know that he had a very good reason, had somebody else come pick the bags up. But if they had to pick them up in person and be a resident of the township, I don't think we'd have a problem.
Well, I guess my opinion is, with these bags, I haven't had the call yet, but I mean, we're giving the bags to people that live on the river. How about all the people that are not on the river? And, you know, that's their tax dollars that bought those bags for $2,160. I don't know. I'm just being the devil's advocate and saying, you know, how's that going to work out for us?
Our money back.
This is Herb. I think we should just charge, just recoup our cost. You're looking at 100 bags, it's $18. I charge them for the 18 cents a bag. It's still a better price than what you're going to find on the street somewhere.
This is Freehand. The board really only needs to decide. We don't need to decide all of the procedures. I think between Cindy and the staff, they can decide how they want to do it. But what's appropriate for us to decide on is, do we want to charge, and do we want the money prepaid, and do we limit it to 100 bags per residence? And I would make a motion to that effect, that our policy is to charge the price that we per bag that we pay per bag, rather than specifying the 18 cents. So we would charge for our cost, limit 100 bags per residence, and limit it to or the money needs to be prepaid.
Could I add something to that, Bob? This is Larry. Could you add on there that, you know, if more bags are needed, it would be at the discretion of the township manager or township supervisor? You know, if they need more than 100, if that were to be the case, they'd have to prove to us that they needed more than 100.
Okay. Yes. So we won't amend the motion, but just to continue. That would be included in my motion then.
Okay, does everybody understand the motion? Do you have the support?
Livestock support.
We have a motion, we have the support. Does everybody understand the motion? Sell the bags for 18 cents, and if they need more than 100, it'll be through the township manager or township supervisor's discretion to, if they need more.
And the money is prepaid.
Money is prepaid, correct, before they get the bags. Is there any further discussion on the sandbags? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Simons.
Yes.
Mr. Boda.
Yes.
Mr. Patsalas.
Yes.
Mr. Horn.
Yes.
Mr. Blackstock.
Yes.
Freehand votes yes. All yes. Babel absent.
Thank you. Motion carries. Moving on to announcements. I guess our announcements are that we have our staff back at the Township Hall and all locations, but the buildings are still all locked down. We're still dealing with the drop box in the front, emails or phone calls. And I think we should be able to get all our business conducted as needed, building permits, water bills, all that. That's all the announcements I have. I hope everybody's staying healthy. And this was the first day that we've had 0 new cases in St. Clair County. So that's a big day for us, even though we have a lot in East China Township. Moving on, Cindy, would you like to add anything today?
You took the one thing that let everyone know that our staff is back, but the town hall is still closed to the public. But the other thing is that we do have curbside shipping scheduled for this coming Wednesday, May 20th. So we will be sending our crews out, make sure everything is out by Tuesday evening.
Okay, thank you. That's it for announcements. Move on to members' comments. Mr. Freehand?
Yes, we're in the process of sending out applications to vote absentee for the August 3rd primary, and we're encouraging people, if we have about 1,000 of our registered voters already on the permanent absent voter list, but anyone who is not already on that permanent absent voter list, we encourage them if they are interested. We encourage people to vote using an absentee ballot because this year, because social distancing as well as masks and that sort of thing will most likely be in place for in-person voting. And so as a convenience to people and as their own safety and security, we recommend that they apply for an absentee ballot. All it takes to get an application is to call the township offices or to send us a note and giving your name and address. And then we will send you an application. Applications are also available online at michigan.gov, Secretary of State.
Okay, thank you, Bob. Is that it?
That's it.
And Mr. Boda?
Yes, I have a couple of things here. On the official proceedings of May 4th, 2020. Let's see here. I'll find what I'm looking for. Just a second, please. Yeah, under Resolution 7-2020, adoption of a MERS defined contribution plan. Under the where it says present, my name is not there as being in attendance, even though the absent area says none. My name is not listed. The same for Resolution 8-2020, establishing authorized signatories for MERS contracts and service credit approvals. Again, it's the same thing. It says absent none, but my name is not listed. It's either being there or not being there.
This is Freehand. That's an error on my part. I didn't double check that, so we will correct that.
Oh, okay, Bob. And then I think there's another one. That looks like the only one. Yeah, looks like the same one, Bob. Those are the only two. Okey-doke.
Is that it, Mr. Boda?
Pardon me?
Are you done, Mr. Boda?
Yes, I'm done.
Okay, thank you for catching that. Mr. Pasalis?
Once again, I just want to wish everybody stay healthy and safe, and hopefully one day we're together in that township hall again.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Horn?
Yes, I have to say the same thing Angelo just said. Stay safe, stay healthy. And that's all I have.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Mr. Blackstock?
Just the same thing. Just everyone stay safe, and I look forward to public meetings again.
Okay.
That's it.
Well, go ahead.
This is Freehand. If I could comment on that, for our next meeting, that's what we were looking at, is how we would do it, because if we have a public meeting, we would have to socially distance. So what we would need is extra tables, because if you have six feet apart, there's really only 3 people at the main table, and then the other 4 people would be at side tables. We'd have to work out the logistics of doing that if we were to broadcast it. So it may be one of the things to look at. My recommendation is that at this point, that until we get that worked out, that we look at our first meeting in June to do it telephonically as we have. And then we can look at what arrangements we would make for the second meeting in June.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with that, Bob. I think we should have our next meeting on the telecom here. Is that all everybody's got? I guess my comments are, everybody stay safe. Doing a great job at the township. All of our employees, Cindy, all of our employees have stepped up. They've done a great job of helping, and I just can't say enough about what the employees are doing. The other thing, that before we open the township hall, also, we would like to get a glass window at the counter there. And we're working on that right now. We're trying to get some quotes together. So, and one other thing is the Point Drive sewer line. They're going to be starting on that. They're supposed to be getting us some start dates, and they're going to start on the lift station first, getting that done. We're just finishing up our permits, getting all the permits. I don't know, Cindy, do you have anything to add about that Point Drive sewer project? I've been reading the emails.
No, not really.
Okay. Well, we'll keep you posted on that, what we're doing. So with that, I guess that's all I have. Everybody stay safe. So a motion to adjourn would be in order.
I'll make a motion to adjourn at 8:27.
Angelo here. I'll support.
Okay, we have a motion. We have support to adjourn. Is there any further discussions? Hearing none. Roll call, please.
Mr. Simons,
Yes.
Mr. Boda,
Yes.
Mr. Patsalos,
Yes.
Mr. Horn,
Yes.
Mr. Blackstock,
Yeah.
and Freehand votes yes.
And motion carries. We're adjourned. Thank you, everyone, and stay safe.